About 15 minutes left, okay? So I want to make sure that audience members have questions or something you want to ask. We can get into it, but we have to clear this out in about 15 for the dancers, okay? So, ladies first.
Okay. I would like to actually get back to the towers at Gulf War because I would really want to know the history of this because this was something that was said to be told.
So I was packing up and leaving Gulf War, and my car was packed, and my camp was ready to go. The Ansteorran comes up and goes, "Next year, I'm the land steward, and we really need some gates." Am I right? And so I thought about it on my way back to home, and my goal was to create a structure that would symbolize the majesty of Ansteorran. I went and looked at the gates that existed, and my goal was to try to create a structure that could be built by all of Ansteorran. And so I thought through what the pieces could be, how we could build it. We put together a committee. We designed it so that the parts could be built in various parts of the kingdom. That way we spread out the work across the kingdom, and we spread out the involvement across the kingdom. Ansteorran hyped it up at every event he went to. I hyped it up at every event I went to. We collected a lot of money. Daniel Guttridge, can't remember his SCA name, was our treasurer. Treasurer for the longest time. We do what? Oh yeah. And so we came up with a design that could be built across the country, and we started construction on December the 13th, 2002. And I remember that date specifically because my son was born on December the 12th, 2002, and my wife was still in the hospital when I started getting calls from Bjornsburg going, "Hey, we're starting to build these walls down here and we don't really understand your drawings." And so that was the date principal construction began. The walls were built down in Bjornsburg. Amy? We built, many of the parts would come up from around the kingdom at various events up here in the steps, and were stored at a warehouse in Fort Worth. A lot of people worked really hard. I reserved building the hinges to myself. That was the part that I chose to build. And we went up in, I guess it would have been spring, to put the first parts in. I can get into the details of the construction, but nobody cares. The interesting part about it is that there's about 4,000 pounds of concrete in the U part of the steel that's underneath the ground that is basically in between the doors. I built the doors in my backyard, and they're solid wood. And I wanted to build them so that when you open and close them, you feel the majesty of the gates. They're not hollow pretend. They're real Ansteorran gates, and you open them and close them, and you feel that majesty. If you have an opportunity to do that, it's a magical moment for me the first time I put it up.
If I may jump in real quick. When I was Gulf War liaison for the kingdom for a few years, I thought it would be cool to have these things. And I sat around and I talked to a lot of people, and I thought about I can't build things. I tell people, I'm not a laurel for making stuff, I'm a laurel for making stuff up. And building is not one of my talents. And I thought about who could do this, who had the skill to design and build them, who had the charisma to carry the project, and who had the diplomatic ability to sell it and to evangelize it. And I can think of only one person in the kingdom, and that was Fritz.